Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is Warhammer Stormbringer issue 54. We get, what are these? These are Sneaky Snufflers. Right, so, yeah, oh crap, right, okie dokie. Brilliant. So they've only given us 3 bases. That's shite. Well done. I opened it at the top. So this is the second time that I've received something from this collection, and there's only been like half the bases, half the required bases. For those that remember, when we had the Moon Clan shooters, it's supposed to be a unit of 20, but I only had 10 bases in that pack. So just looking at the others, I'm not seeing any additional bases. So that is really bad. Right. Let's put those aside. Maggotkin of Nurgle. Revelling in their own afflictions, the Maggot King of Nurgle march to the dull tolling of rusted bells, bringing disease and damnation to all they meet. They aim to transform the lands into festering gardens of pestilence and decay as a tribute to their god, who they lovingly refer to as Grandfather Nurgle. So, decay, regrowth, bountiful gifts, realm of death, red section 2, F2, afterlives and underworlds. Shyish contains the many underworlds in which the spirits of the dead are sent. The underworlds are formed from the beliefs of the souls who arrive there. If they expect paradise, they get one. If they expect damnation, Shyish obliges. But Shyish is not a realm of the dead alone, and many mortals live alongside the departed. Okay, fair enough. Sneaky Snufflers. Bad Moon Rising. The arrival of the Bad Moon is heralded by a bounty of unusual fungus. Nice. So, Snuffle Squig traits. So these are like the bloodhounds of the Squig world, I take it. So you get plenty of heads with this set, by the look of it. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 different heads there. You get a unit trait D6 rolling chart. So these are all fairly simple to put together by the look of it. Literally, there's 2 of each. So there's not a lot of variation, I'm afraid, in that respect. It's disappointing that we're missing bases. How to paint Sneaky Snufflers. So, coming in here, the little squigs, little miniature squigs with elongated noses. Little piggy noses. Cool. Yeah, these are all very similar in design. There's not a lot of variation there. So, Sneaky Snufflers. They have a 5-inch move, they have 2 wounds, 4 bravery and a 6-up save. They have a Loon Fungus Sickle, which has a range of 2 inches, 3 attacks. It's 4+ to hit, 4+ to wound, -1 rend and 1 damage. And the Snuffler Squigs have Gnashers, which is a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 4+ to hit, 4+ to wound, no rend and 1 damage. So, off their heads. War Scroll tutorials, off their heads. Right, so off their heads gives the Sneaky Snufflers an extra chance to avoid a wound by making a ward roll. See Rules 8 14.3. Each time the Sneaky Snufflers fail to save and take a wound, you get to roll another die. This is a ward roll. If you roll a 6, the wound is ignored. You can even use this against mortal wounds inflicted by spells or the Vindictor's Storm Soul arsenal ability. So that's handy, that you can use it to ignore mortal wounds. Obviously the chances of rolling a 6 are quite slim. Right, Ilthari's Guardians. So they deal high damage. They have good versatility, but there's few models. I think there's only 4 in that unit. Spirit of Durthu. So the plus is that it's a monster and it has good abilities, but it has a damage table, so it loses effectiveness as it loses wounds. Battle Plan 4, Forged in War, the Mother Load. So this looks like a nice one, which is going to include several different army units. So we haven't had our Iron Jaws yet, but here we go. Alliance of Order. The Alliance of Order have heard a colossal explosion and a nearby detachment makes its way towards the source of the noise. On arrival, they encounter the Destruction Force. Fearing that they have found a weapons cache, the Order force moves directly in to investigate the mounds and challenge the Destruction army. If they win, they will thwart the forces of destruction and recover some treasure. If they lose, they will have to prepare to face whatever the forces of destruction dig up. So army list, same as the last one actually. It's 2 hero options, 4 troops options. And the Alliance of Destruction, the forces of destruction have found some mounds containing treasure. To appease the boss, they start investigating, but some are rigged with explosive traps. As if things couldn't get any worse, an Order patrol is attracted to the noise, and the forces of destruction have a fight on their hands. If they win, they will be able to recover the treasure at the cost of nothing more than a few exploded hobgrots. If they lose, they will have to explain to the boss why they lost the treasure. 2 hero options, 4 troops options. You're deploying on each long table edge, and you've got a significant amount of objective markers. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 objective markers on this map. So that's significant. And they give you 9 objective markers at the end. Mustering for battle. So, right, cool. Come down, let's have a look at the plastic and the 3 bases that they gave us. So, GW Sculpt of 2019. So you're going to have a lot of heads left over from this, I think, once you have built everything. Literally, they just give you 2 sprues the same. So you get 3 on each. That's probably why I've only ended up with 3 of these, because they failed to take into account that they've given us 6. Yeah, it is 6 on the front of the cover. But yeah, as you can see, both the same. So it's annoying when they do that. I didn't have any of these major issues with Imperium magazine. Anywho, so we get 3 sickles, so you haven't got a lot of choice on weapons. And then obviously these guys have their little, I'm assuming these are like some sort of little carrion cradle backpacks they've got on. I'm not entirely sure what those are supposed to be. But yeah, this is the sprue. There's not much to it. Yeah, so come back in a sec and we'll build some of these. We'll build a couple. We won't build all of them on camera. We'll just build a couple. I'll see you in a sec. Hey, lovelies. Right, let's get a couple of these people built. Right, so I have, you get 6 heads for the goblins, and you get 6 faces for the truffle, piggy, squiggy things. So I have used one of each head, so that because these are going to be going to somebody else, I have left the spares on the sprue. Now, she said, my sequence of build is going to be back half of the squig, pretty much as per the instructions. So back half of the squig, so the 2 legs that form its butt basically, and then just put that aside. The reason being is I want that to go off a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is the cage on top actually holds a bundle of fungus. That's nice. So that will go in, oh, excuse me, that will go in there. Then I'm going to add in the other half of the body, and you can, if you so wish, glue from the underside rather than have glue coming down. And then just add in your head, like so. Actually, I might just drop in a little bit more around there. Now, with that done, let's come back to our squig. And essentially, the mouth is going to be kind of like at the bottom, so I found it easier to just add in some glue there and then marry the butt up like so. So anyway, who remembers Pixels, that video arcade game with Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage, where they had to combat aliens that were invading? That just reminds me, if you paint it green, it just reminds me of that character out of there. Right, and then what I'm going to do is drop the arm in. Now, the way I'm going to do this is put some glue on the hand which is holding the leash, and then marry up the squig to that, and then I'm going to place it square on the mat and just adjust the squig so that they are positioned with their feet on the ground. And that's the best way to do that. I'll let that go off. Now, in this set, you get 2 heads which have big hook nose. I've already done one, and this head on the end of his little cap, his nightcap here, he's got like a moon, half-quarter moon, big old nose. So I'm assuming that's one boss. And then you get this second head, again with a big old nose, and this guy's got some fungus going out of his cap. So I'm assuming that's going to be the other boss. Obviously you don't have to run it like that if you don't want to. You know, you can just run them as box standard troops if you so wish. But as this is a troop of 6, I don't know, my Age of Strife knowledge is quite limited to what I'm learning here, and these aren't an army that I'm collecting, so these are going to a friend. So I don't know if these can be split down into 2 groups of 3, you know, like combat squads for Space Marines. But even so, I don't think it would matter at all that one of the bosses, or that you've got the 2 boss heads on, as it were. So again, coming in, I should have done that first. Actually, I went straight to the Dubry. Marry this up like so. Now, put the head on. Put the arm in. I'm going to go with that, I think. There's a little bit of wiggle room on that with regards to placement. And what I'm going to do is come in and glue this together. Now you'll notice that this head is actually hollow on the inside, so that kind of needs a little bit of extra just to go in. So anyway, whilst this has had a bit of time to go off, I'm now going to bring it in, and then I can glue this to the base. There's that, and then this last one, again, I'm going to glue this to the hand because it makes it easier, because you do get a little bit of wiggle room time when you're placing this down to make sure that the feet contact. And I'm going to come straight in. This is the last one. Come straight in and glue. And that's it. Those are the Sneaky Snufflers. I think they look great. They look like clawed hands from some sort of beast. These little backpacks. They look like they're made out of finger bones and talons from some sort of clawed beast, and that's really cool. And then they got the little fungus log growing in the middle. But yeah, they are quite characterful. I do love them, but they're not an army that interests me. But they were fun to build. Anyway, hopefully I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye bye.